welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Thursday, which means it's time for a Magic Stuff. Now, on a Thursday at 9 o'clock, we tend to talk about a lot of random stuff, but today I'm going to be doing another one of the 3 best trick series, or the 3 tricks that you don't know series, depending. This is where I kind of take a particular subject and I highlight 3 tricks that you might not have seen before that I have personally used in my act that I think are super commercial, and a lot of the time these tricks are older tricks that you probably haven't seen. And that's the thing about magic. We're always so attracted to the latest shiny object that's come out that everybody must buy that we forget about some of the stuff that's come out years and years and years ago, which is awesome as well. Now today I'm going to be talking about the $100 bill switch, or the thumb tip bill switch. Now if you don't know what the $100 bill switch is, or the thumb tip bill switch, first of all you need to go and get yourself a book called Switch. It's an amazing book. I think it's by John Lovick. It'll be down below. But Switch is absolutely amazing. Think of this. When you get into coin magic, you get told to get Bobo's Modern Coin Magic. When you get into card magic, the first thing that people tell you to do is get Royal Road. If you're wanting to get into switching bills with a thumb tip, really the book Switch is what you have to get. It is like an encyclopedia. So what happens in this book is, first of all, they talk through the various different ways of doing the bill switch. They break it down step by step. It's very well written. And then there's a whole stack load of routines in there that you can do with the $100 bill switch. Because here's the thing, most people tend to do the same thing. They tend to do exactly the same thing every single time, which typically is, hey, look, let me take your $1 bill. I'm going to fold it up. I'm going to unfold it. And now look at this. It's a $100 bill. But let me fold it up again. And now it's a $1 bill, which is fine. People have been doing that for years. I personally don't like doing that. And the reason I don't like doing it is the same reason that Jay Sankey doesn't like doing it. When he talked about it in his book, in his DVD on thumb tip magic, on routines with the $100 bill switch, he actually said in there, I don't like the idea of taking something, making it more expensive, making it more valuable, and then turning it back to normal. It kind of like gets the audience really, really excited and then drops them. I kind of understand what he's talking about there. And also, there's so many other things that you can do with the $100 bill switch. Jay Sankey is a perfect example. He's done tons of stuff, and some of the routines that we're going to be talking about on this video are actually Jay Sankey routines as well. But there is so much that you can do with the $100 bill switch. So get Switch. None of the routines that I'm actually performing for you in this video are actually in Switch, but Switch is an amazing book. If you watch this video and you want to learn how to do the $100 bill switch, Switch is the way to go, or the Sankey DVD on thumb tip. He's got a whole DVD on magic with the $100 bill switch, or the thumb tip bill switch. And if you don't even know what I'm talking about at this point, the $100 bill switch, or let's call it from now on in this video, the thumb tip bill switch, or the bill switch. It's the idea of taking a note or a piece of paper the same size as a note, folding it into 1/16 and unfolding it. And as you do, you switch the bill from one to another. And in the action of folding it up, you're actually loading and unloading a thumb tip. It's one of the moves that you really should learn if you're getting into magic. Not just close-up magic, it's stage magic. I mean, this is absolutely visual. When you're performing parlor or you're performing from a stage. I've been doing this for the last year in virtual shows. So it's something that you absolutely should learn. I think it's kind of a prerequisite. But on this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 routines that you might not have seen before using the $100 bill switch. So without further ado, let's have a look at trick number 1. So the first trick that I'm going to be talking to you about is my variation of fan mail. Now, fan mail is a Jay Sankey routine. It is on the DVD that I spoke about earlier on, but I think he first put it out on, he had a DVD out many, many years ago, and I can't remember what it's called. I think it was Jay Sankey Live, and it was him actually performing live at a restaurant or something like that. Because if you've ever seen a Jay Sankey DVD, it's normally not in front of a live audience. He's normally sitting at his kitchen table, and it's very intimate and he's performing to camera. This DVD, what made it different is that he was performing live. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll put it in the description down below. The point is, this first appeared, he put on a routine on there called fan mail, which was an incredible use of the $100 bill switch. And to be honest, it makes a brilliant opener when you're doing close-up magic. So what fan mail is basically It's the idea of, well, how Jay presents it, because I do it a little bit differently. So let me talk to you about what Jay does. Jay goes up to a group and says, "Hi, my name's Jay, what's your name?" And they'll say, and he says, "No, Sarah, really? What's your surname?" "Petty. You're the Sarah Petty." "Oh my gosh, that is amazing. I need your autograph. I collect autographs. And I really need your autograph." He says, "I collect them on pieces of paper." And he brings out a piece of paper and he signs a piece of paper himself. And he says, "Look, I tell you what, I'll give you my autograph. Let me put that one in my pocket for now, and I'll take your autograph." And he takes their piece of paper with their autograph on it, and then he does the switch, and visually at the fingertips, the piece of paper with their autograph on changes into his autograph, or the other way around, can't remember because I do it slightly differently. And then he shows that there's a transposition that's taking place with the pocket. It's really good. It's an incredibly clever use of the bill switch. He uses a duplicate bill, which is absolutely fine. The way that Jay has choreographed it is brilliant. So he uses a duplicate piece of paper, and he's cut out lots and lots of pieces of paper from Tyvek. Tyvek is brilliant because it'll last a lifetime. It won't bend. It won't rip. And he does this whole switch. Now, when I first learned this, I was like, "This is absolutely brilliant." And I did it the way that Jay explained it for years, and then I changed it. Because the presentation made sense to me, and I'll perform it for you in a second, and then we'll talk about why the presentation makes sense to me. But I don't use a duplicate bill at all. Now, in the performance that I do with Sarah, I only had a couple of sheets of Tyvek, one of which had been pre-signed from me from another routine. So in the routine, you actually see that I've already got a piece of paper on display that's been signed by me. But the way that I actually do this, that's not a duplicate. I haven't got a duplicate of that. The way I normally do this is I just bring out two pieces of Tyvek and I go into the routine and I get two people to sign it, and you don't need any duplicates. And that's the advantage, because the way I do it, I can get two people, two completely, I don't have to sign anything because of the way Jay's routine is constructed with the duplicate. I need to sign one of the bills, but the way I do it, you don't have to sign either of the bills. You can get a married couple and get a man and a woman to sign. The man can sign one bill, the piece of paper, the woman can sign the other piece of paper. Let me perform the routine for Sarah so you can see exactly what I mean, and I'll talk about why this routine is so good for your close-up work. Okay, Sarah, so we're going to do something right now with two pieces of paper, and you can see that I've signed my name on one of these. Can you see that?
Yes, upside down. But
upside down, there you go. Sign my name on one of these. And what I want you to do on the other one, I'd like you to sign your name right across the middle like I did on mine, nice and big and bold. So from one side to the other, if you could write your name, that is sign your name, that would be amazing. There you go. So we're going to have a situation where Sarah has signed her name on one of these and I have signed my name on the other one. There we go. And you can see we have Sarah Petty right there and we have Craig Petty right there. Perfect. Now, Sarah, we're going to isolate one of these inside the card box over there. Which one would you like me to put inside the card box? Yours or mine?
Yours.
Mine. Okay. So I'm going to take it and fold it in half. Fold it in half again, again, and again. And I'm going to pop it right there inside the card box. Now, if somebody was here, they could hold on to this card box. They could hear it was in there. We're going to put that over there. Now, have you ever heard of the Pendragon, Sarah?
Yeah.
The greatest illusion act of all time, Charlotte and Jonathan Pendragon, they used to do this thing called the substitution trunk, or the metamorphosis. And the whole idea is that Charlotte would be locked inside the box, Jonathan would stand on top of the box, and in a split second, they would change places. And it's absolutely amazing. Well, we're going to pretend that you and I are a famous illusion act. And we're going to pretend, because my piece of paper is inside the box, we're going to pretend that that's me. We can pretend it's me. So I'm the one that's locked inside the box, and you are the glamorous assistant standing on top of the box. And I want you to watch how fast this takes place. Because the thing with the Pendragons is they could do it in literally a split second. So we're going to try and see if we can do exactly the same. 1, 2, 3, and hopefully it's done. I don't know if you saw that, but literally in a split second, what happened is we changed places. Now we have my piece of paper that I signed right here. And if I just take this and open it up, reach inside there is one piece of paper and one piece of paper only. And if I'm outside the box, that means you are inside the box. There it is, Sarah Petty and Craig Petty, the greatest illusion act of all time. So that's a full performance. Now, you saw the presentation that I did. I talked about the Pendragons. Now, let me explain why I actually adapted the presentation, because I do believe that when you learn a routine, you should be looking to change the presentation to fit with what you do. And I created this because I was in a situation where I was getting booked to do my illusion show an awful lot, but I was being booked to do close-up magic before the illusion show. So I was going around doing close-up magic beforehand, and then I was doing the show a little bit later on. And so what I tried to do in that situation is I tried to perform some routines where I could reference illusions. And this was perfect for me because I can talk about the Pendragons, I can talk about a metamorphosis, and in our show, in the Slightly Unusual show, we do a metamorphosis illusion. And so I was like, hey, this is absolutely brilliant. I can talk about this, I can talk about the routine. And it's really nice to grab a married couple or a couple and say, hey, you guys are going to be the new illusion act of the future. You're going to be absolutely brilliant. Can you sign a piece of paper? Can you sign a piece of paper? So presentationally, that makes more sense to me. If you want to know how I actually do it, and obviously I'm not going to be exposing anything, and I really think that you should go and buy Jay's DVD to learn thumbnail, so I'm not going to explain the $100 bill switch or anything, but I have the card box on the table, and inside the card box I have the thumb tip. So when I fold the first one up, they can pick which one they want to put in the card box. I just put it in, and that's when I load the thumb tip. Then I do the thumb tip bill switch to do the change, and then as I go back in, I can very easily take out the one that's loaded into the thumb tip. So it's really, and I've got another one in there that I can rattle, and all I do is after a card set, I just do a box switch in order to allow me to do that. So for me, that's better, because I'm not having to go to my pocket, everything's out on the table, and I'm also not having to sign one myself. I can get two people to sign it, and then I can give them both away at the end, which is great. Regardless of whether you use my way of doing this or you go with Jay's original fan mail, which is awesome as well, this is an incredible routine. First of all, it's pretty much angle proof. The nice thing about the bill switch, the $100 bill switch, is it is pretty much angle proof. Even if you've got people behind you, I do this walk around at like busy events and cocktail. Even if I've got people behind me, just in the action of bringing my hands closer to my chest, I'm covering pretty much all of the angles. So it's pretty much angle proof. I don't require a table. I do require a table if I'm using my version, because obviously I need to put the card box down. But if you're using Jay's original version, you don't require a table, which is another reason why you want to go with fan mail. But if you use my version, you do have to put a pack of cards down, although you're not doing anything on the table. So depending on the version you use, no tables required. It's an instant reset. I just have tons of Tyvek with me. So I have tons of pre-folded Tyvek in my wallet. And when I want to do this routine, I just go into it and I take 2 pieces of Tyvek out and I'm good to go. So there's no setup to it beforehand. It's an instant reset because afterwards I'm left in a situation where I just need to take another 2 out. I've even left the thumb tip inside the box. So if you use my version, even the box resets itself at the end, which is incredible. And it's very easy to do. Once you've got the bill switch down, it's very, very easy to do, but it's very magical because they see their signature on there. And when you fold it and unfold it and it changes, they just freak out. They really do, because they can see their signature. They know that that's their signature. They can see it on there, and then all of a sudden it's changed. It's great. Now, the other way that you can actually do this is give the spectators 2 different coloured pens. So one signing maybe 1 piece of paper with a blue pen, one signing 1 piece of paper in a red pen. And so they see the change a bit quicker. You've got that extra moment when they fold it, they unfold it. First of all, they can see that, they did see blue pen, now they can see red pen. And then as you unfold it, they can see that the signatures have changed. But yeah, it's great. And it's also not a card trick. It's not a coin trick. And if you use the presentation that Jay did in the original fan mail, it is a great opener, just walking up to somebody and saying, oh my gosh, you're not the Sarah Petty, are you? Oh, that's brilliant. I need your autograph. It really is a great in with a group of people, which is really, really important when you're actually performing close-up magic, especially mix and mingle, getting that first routine in there. I've talked about openers on this channel before. So there you go, fan mail. It's a great use of the TT bill switch. It's a fantastic use of the thumb tip bill switch. And again, it's not cards, it's not coins, it's something kind of unique. So you can learn it from any of Jay's projects. And I also think he put it in the 3-volume set of books that he brought out through Vanishing Ink. So the second routine, this is one of my routines. This is just an unpublished thing that I've done for years, and this is very, very commercial. What I've done is, if you know Chronologue, which is the original book, if you know the routine, the birthday book or the diary book, where you've got a playing card written next to each date, and you have somebody look up a date, look at a playing card, and you've predicted it beforehand. The original method for that is called Chronologue. I'm not going to give Chronologue away here, but that's the original method. Now, I did Chronologue way back in the day. I remember seeing Paul Daniels do it, maybe on the Secrets Magic show years and years and years ago, and then I went on a mission to learn how it was done, and when I learned it, I was like, this is brilliant. And I did it that way for ages, but I used to get people saying to me, why have you got playing cards written in a diary? That's a bit odd. And I didn't really have an answer for them. Well, I just like playing. There's no real answer for them. And I developed this off the back of that. I've actually developed a few different versions of Chronologue, but this particular routine, I love films. So I've been doing this for probably 5 or 6 years now, and every single year I get a diary and I just write a film next to each date in the diary. It works the same as Chronologue, but the nice thing about it, it works the same as Chronologue, but it would make sense that I've got films written in a diary, especially presentationally with the presentation I use. So let me perform this to Sarah behind the camera so you can see the presentation and you can see why it makes sense. And then I'll talk about why this is so good from a commercial point of view. Okay, so let's have a look at the full performance right now. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you something with a piece of paper. Hopefully you can see the piece of paper right there. There you go. If you were here, I'd give you this to touch and feel. And I've also got Sarah behind the camera. How are you doing, Sarah?
Yeah.
Cool stuff. So we're going to do something with a diary. I've got a diary over there. I'll grab it in a minute. But I set myself a goal in 2020 because obviously we got locked down and there was a lot of time at home and I wasn't performing as much. So I set myself a goal to watch a film every single day for a year. 365 films, one every single day. And I'm proud to say I hit that goal. Even though some days were hard and I didn't feel like watching a film, I still managed it. And I actually catalogued my journey in a diary, a pocket diary. I've got it over there. We're going to try and do something, but Sarah, I need you to help me. There's 365 days in 2020, obviously. Which day would you like? Which date? Give me a date. Any date you want to. Totally up to you.
15th of July.
Perfect. Now, I've got my diary over here, and as you can see in this diary, there's a different film written next to every single date. So I want you to take this diary for me, if you can, and go through to the 15th of July, if you can, please. That'd be great.
Yep.
And when you've got to the 15th of July, just say, so we all know that you're looking at the 15th of July.
Yep.
Very good. Now, do you see the film on the 15th of July?
I do.
Very good. Now tell me out loud, what's the date? What's the film on the 14th of July?
The Blues Brothers.
The Blues Brothers. What's the film on the 16th of July?
I can't read your writing. Scarface, I think.
Ah, Scarface. Okay, good film. And what's the film on the day before the 15th of July? So that'd be like the 13th of July. What's the film then?
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. So the point is, every single one of those is different. Is that fair to say? If you'd pick a different date, you would have picked a different film. So close the diary up. I don't want to see it. Here's the thing. You could have picked any date. You could have got any film. You haven't said it out loud. There's no way I could know. But we're going to try and do something really magical right now. And I'm not even going to at any point ask you what the film is that you're thinking of. I'm going to try and do something incredible using this piece of paper. And I just want you to watch. See, I'm going to take this piece of paper and fold it in half like that. I'm going to take it and fold it in half again, which puts it into quarters or fourths. In half again makes it go into eighths. In half again makes it go into sixteenths. Now, all I have to do is snap my fingers, give it a little shake, and it's done. Because hopefully, if I've done this right, we should have something on this piece of paper. It should now say one word, Titanic. Let me ask you a question, Sarah. Are you thinking of Titanic?
I was, yes.
How incredible is that? There you go. Being able to work out what the film is that you're thinking of by magic using nothing more than a piece of paper. So you can see there's an awful lot going on there, right? So first of all, although I've been doing this for years and I use the same pattern for years about, hey, I set myself a goal in 2018, I set myself a goal to watch a film every single day, which always gets a laugh. It always gets a laugh. In 2020, it has an even bigger impact because obviously everyone's been sitting around binging Netflix. So you turn around to people and you say, hey, 2020, I set myself a goal to watch every film. It was difficult, but I found the time and I hit it. It's even funnier. So that element of it is chronologue. The other element of it, for anybody who knows chronologue, that you're limiting their choice quite severely. You're limiting their choice right down. And so what I have is I have a crib of thumb tips set up to do this, and which is an idea that I got from Etienne Pradier. If you don't know Etienne Pradier, we did an interview with him on the channel. He's absolutely brilliant, but he's got a fantastic use of the thumb tip bill switch where he's got multiple currencies and multiple different notes, and he has somebody name a denomination and name a note, and he can literally change it into that denomination from that country just at will. And I love that idea, and I was like, well, if I apply that to this, I can have a really magical change. And that's what I love about this routine. And think about it. You have the piece of paper that's given out to the audience from the very, very beginning. You then introduce the premise, you give them the diary and you say, hey, look up the date. Fantastic. Do you see the film there? Yeah. Now, you never actually tell them to tell you the name of the film. Just in the action of finding out what the films are, on either side, a couple in each direction, that tells me immediately what the film is, right? So I know the film without them having to say anything, but there's no way on God's green earth they're going to think that I know what the film is. There's 365, and when they look, and that's the beautiful thing about chronology. When you have a look through this diary, it really does look. They're looking at it, they can't see a duplicate. It's absolutely great. So from a methodology point of view, I've got all the time in the world to get the right thumb tip, because as I'm telling them to read out films and say, hey, if you picked a different date, it would have been a different film, and so on and so forth. All I have to do is just nonchalantly put my hands in my pockets, and I'm done. I get the right TT. I'm in that situation where I've got the thumb tip, I've got the right one. They've been holding this piece of paper from the very beginning, and I fold it and I unfold it, and it's got the name of the film that they've never said out loud. They've never told anybody. They've only thought of it. It's an incredible moment. You can even go one step further. I don't do this, but I have thought about the idea of having, instead of the word Titanic written on there, I've played around with the idea of having like a picture of a boat sinking and stuff like that, which I think would be really nice. And the other thing that I've played around with is using a concept that Richard Sanders originally put on his Sanders show, which is, I think he called it Identity, I'm not too sure, where he's got a load of dashes. He's took a Sharpie marker and done a load of dashes on the back of a playing card. Somebody else picks a card and he shakes the dashes, and the dashes form the name of the other person's playing card. Well, I've had the idea in the past of, instead of having a blank piece of paper, having somebody do a load of dashes on a blank piece of paper. So, hey, I want you to do a load of dashes like that. Can you do that for me? So you get that one person to do a load of dashes on the piece of paper, and then you say to the second person, right, while that's happening, can you do me a favor, and blah, 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 blah. And they go into, you go into the chronology presentation for them. By the time you know what the film is, you look back at them and they've got they've messed up this paper big style, and then you can fold it and unfold it, and all of these dashes have turned into the name of the film that they've just been thinking of. So that's another way of doing it as well. Either way, it's an instant reset. It's a different outcome every single time. And by the way, it is an instant reset because if you do it the way I do it, I typically make the film vanish. So when I've done that, I'll unfold it and I'll say, you see, the whole thing was in your imagination. You were never thinking of anything. So it's an instant reset, no table required. It's mentalism when you think about it, because they're thinking of a film and you're telling them the film without them actually saying anything. But it's got that very visual moment, which is important at some gigs, where it's maybe a little bit noisy, or in a nightclub, or there's a lot of people there, and you want to make it really visual. It's a way of doing something where somebody's thinking of something, but at the same time, you've got that visual element as well, which is really important. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, and yeah, if you know chronologue, this is a great routine to do. This is so super commercial. I've been doing versions of this particular plot for years and years and years, and I can't tell you how good the reactions are when you take that piece of paper that they've been holding on to the whole time, and then the film just appears that they've just been thinking of. It's super strong, it really is. So the final routine I want to talk about is another Jay Sankey routine. And this is again in his Vanishing Ink books. It's also on his DVD on Thumbtip Bill Switch Magic. This is incredible. He also put out, I'll tell you where he originally published this. Jay put out many years ago a DVD called 45, which I got when it first came out, and it was great. It was basically just 45 sleights, 45 moves. So he taught 45 different moves to music. He didn't actually patter any of this, and he just did 45 different really cool sequences with moves, and this was one of the sequences. It's basically the simplest application of the $100 bill switch you can think of. What you've done is you're making holes jump around on a piece of paper. Now, I'm going to perform this for you first of all, so I'm going to give you a full performance of it, and then I'll talk about why I actually like this so much. Let's have a look at the performance right now. Okay, so I'm going to show you something with a piece of paper, and I want you to see that there are 4 holes, one in each corner of the piece of paper. If you guys were here, you could have a look at this, you could examine it, you could touch it, you could feel it as much as you wanted to. I'm going to try and show you something very unusual. I'm just going to take this paper and fold it in half, then fold it in half again, which puts it into quarters or fourths. In half again is eighths, and in half again is sixteenths. I want you to watch and don't blink. When I snap my fingers and give a little shake, that is the signal for the magic to happen. Because when I start unfolding this piece of paper, very slowly, I want you to see what happens. You see this piece of paper, as I unfold it, you'll see that the holes have moved. They've actually moved so that all 4 holes are in the corner of the paper. Sarah, can you see that? Does that show up okay?
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this work? Well, the whole thing is an illusion. It's not real. It looks real. I mean, I'm pretty sure that every single person watching this will be convinced that those holes moved, but it is impossible to move holes. I mean, after all, holes are an intangible object. It is impossible. So the question is, well, how do I break the illusion? Well, if I fold it up and unfold it again and snap my fingers when I do, you can see that the holes are back to where they begin, right from the very beginning. And that is an illusion with a piece of paper and 4 holes. So that's, I think he calls it traveling credit. I think that's the name of it, possibly. I might be wrong. But it's basically a moving hole routine. And what I love about this is everybody knows that hole is intangible. You can't move a hole, right? You cannot move a hole. So you show this piece of paper with 4 holes, one in each corner, and then you fold it up and you unfold it, and they've all gone into the same corner, and then you give them that to have a look at. It's incredible. You set it up with Tyvek paper, that will last you a lifetime. And it's just, the reactions are so strong. Can't tell you how strong the reactions are. It's just, there's very little to say about this. Now, one thing that I will say, when I first started doing this, I set the finale up inside the thumb tip. So the one with the 4 holes in the same corner, I set that up inside the thumb tip, and I showed a blank piece of paper, and I took a hole punch out, and I openly hole punched the 4 corners. And then I did the $100 bill switch. I have them all go into the same corner, and I gave it out as a souvenir. The problem, normally it's a souvenir. Now, the problem with that is I was getting through so much Tyvek, which isn't a problem, but I was sitting there before gigs for like half an hour just cutting Tyvek out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a pain. Especially the amount of times I was doing it, like many times I'd use this as an opener. So what I did instead, what I started to do is what you just saw me do there, which is I openly bring out a piece of paper with holes already in the corners. I hand it out for examination so they can see the holes are in the corners. I do the switch so the holes are all together. I hand it out for examination again, and I take it back and I put it back to where it originally was. And now I'm not having to, that'll last me a lifetime. That's an instant reset. Now, you don't have to put it back if you want to. You can just do one phase and still have it instantly reset. And what I mean by that is you can show that the holes are in the 4 corners, fold it up, unfold it, all the 4 holes go into the same corner, hand it out for examination, put that away inside your wallet, and you go on. And then the next table you do it to, you bring out the piece of paper and you say, look, I've got 4 holes in the corner here, watch, and you do it the other way around and you have them go into the corner. It's still just as impressive, and you give that out for examination. But I prefer to go there and back again. I prefer that second phase and talking about how everything's an illusion. For me, I actually prefer that. I think it's a little bit better, but it's totally up to you. The nice thing about this routine is that you have options. One thing that I will tell you about this routine is it's very, very powerful. It's got what I call that jumbo coin moment. And if you don't know what I mean, if you do coin magic and you make a jumbo coin appear out of nowhere, people freak out. I mean, they really do freak out. They've never seen anything like it before. They always want to stop the show at that point so they can examine the jumbo coin. That happens every single time, right? And it's the same with certain props. Certain props have that jumbo coin moment. The Omni deck is a perfect example of that jumbo coin moment. Well, this also has that jumbo coin moment. When you show a piece of paper, everybody knows what a piece of paper is. Everybody knows what a hole is. When you take that piece of paper and you show the holes in the corners and you fold it up and you unfold it, and now the holes are are all in the same corner. When I give that out, everybody wants to touch it and feel it and examine it. No way! And they always say, do it again. And I go, well, I'm not meant to do a trick. I love it when somebody asks you to do something and then you go ahead and do it. Sometimes that's not possible, but you want to play it that way. So if somebody says, do it again, which they inevitably will with this routine, you go, well, I'm not meant to repeat a trick, but I tell you what, just for you, let me show you again. And then you put them back into the four corners and then immediately give them out for examination. Honestly, this is one of those things that people will talk about for a very, very, very long time. And it allows you to transition into something else with holes. So if you're doing another routine with holes, like for example, Michael Close's pothole trick or something along those lines, this allows you to transition into that. It also allows you to transition into a matrix because you could do this and then say, well, the problem is, maybe you didn't know what was happening. Maybe it's a bit too small. So I'll tell you what, let me show you something with 4 coins. So from a transitioning point of view in between routines, this really does give you a lot of options, which is really cool. But lots of advantages, no table required, easy to do, no angle restrictions, instant reset, and it gives away a really cool souvenir to the audience if you choose to go down that route. So there you go, guys. That is 3 tricks with the $100 bill switch that you might not have seen before. 3 awesome tricks. These are all tricks that I've included in my act for many, many years. I've performed them many, many times, and they always get a great reaction. If you don't know the $100 bill switch, please learn it as a close-up performer and as a magician in general. It's something that you absolutely should do. As a kids entertainer, you should absolutely do it. If you're watching and you're a kids entertainer, another routine that Jay had on one of his DVDs, which is excellent, is he's got a picture on a piece of paper. And the picture is black and white, and he does a colouring routine, and when he opens it, the picture's coloured in. I mean, there's literally so many different ways that you can go with this if you actually think creatively and don't just do the same thing as everyone else, which is, look, you've got $1, let me turn it into a $50 note. Now let me turn it back into $1. There you go. You can have that back again. Think outside the box. Get a bit more creative. Now, guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you want to see more videos like this, please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Leave a like and leave a comment down below if you've got time. And I'm going to be back again tomorrow on Friday at 9 o'clock with a rant, at 2 o'clock with the shorts, and at 6 o'clock with a Magic Live. I'll see you then. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic.